It's time for our midweek studies. And in our midweek studies, we are found in Proverbs. At this time, chapter 7. Chapter 7, the book of Proverbs. We're going to learn a bit about what is titled there as the Wiles of the Harlot, regarding, of course, immorality in the sexual form in regards to adultery, fornication, things like that. It's very important for us to learn and to also teach our youth in a culture, yet again, so publicly amplified and expressed regarding deviancies of the of a sexual nature, if you will. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be reading Proverbs chapter 7 and gaining insight and discernment on how to be wise with things happening around us. Don't want to be found in a trap. Caught in a trap. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Our friends are going to be rolling in. It's good to have you with us. Stefan Maya is my name. AddedSouls.com is my website, and I labor alongside the East Coast Church of Christ over here on the East Coast of Canada. And you can check out the .com or .ca, eastcoastchurchofchrist.com, .ca, whichever. It will land you to the same location. And I'll be opening up the text on the screen as well for those of you viewing the video side of things. Because what we do, we go live at 9 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. We go live on our Facebook page here on Added Souls. We go live on my YouTube channel and on my Rumble channel, Added Souls on my Rumble channel. And we go live, and afterwards, I upload the audio version to Substack. And Substack goes ahead and shares it to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google, and all kinds of different podcast platforms. So some of you view the video podcast and some of you listen to the audio podcast. But we are themed to our midweek study. That's what we do on Wednesdays. We kind of have a theme for each day, if you will. On Monday, I typically upload the sermon session we had on Sunday. On Tuesday, we have Analyzing the Lyric, which we analyze lyrics. It could be from the hymn book we utilize to sing to one another on Sunday, or it could be a song out there in the secular world. On Wednesday is our midweek studies, and we've been in Proverbs. On Thursday, we have a topical trip. We pluck out, if you will, a topical discussion, have ourselves a topical discussion. And on Friday, it can be at times more so current events, socio-political, or at times just a topical discussion. In all accounts, please consider, following with us, learning with us. You can subscribe, you can like, you can share, you can comment, and you can follow along. All those interactive call to action buttons are there for a reason, so that you and I together can work together and learn together and help others out there who might want to do the same. The Added Souls 3-point system has been and will be: reach the faithless, renew the fallen, and reinforce the faithful. Isn't that good? I think so. Helps us to be focused, right? Gives us the narrow path to walk by. If we kind of get too close to the ditches on either side, well, the 3-point system kind of pierces us back into the beaten path, if you will, and the mission at hand. Many wonderful things being learned, of course, in Proverbs thus far. This is our, I believe, 5th session in Proverbs. And chapter 7 is indeed an important one, a very important one. Many young men, many young women, they get snared up in these messed up relationships that involve, of course, fornication and adultery. And it leaves a lot of pain. It creates a lot of pain. It creates a lot of division in the family. Divorce, heartache, at times even abortion, the loss of life to a little human being. So there's a lot of consequences when we perhaps are naive of mind regarding a man or a woman who may be worldly and seeking to, how should I say, seeking to lure us in through sensuality, the whole be sexy girl thing. And this world is enamored by it. Our culture is just drenched in it. It oozes at every corner. We are over-sexualized. We've been Corinthianized. It's everywhere. It's actually even among believers in a rampant way. Many believers are adulterers and fornicators, and they give in to that. Many of them have tried to justify adultery by twisting and turning and manipulating the scriptures. More so Matthew 19:9, which so plainly speaks. It's just, it's so clear and plain. But when the heart is not right, when the heart wants to remain in these delinquencies, if you will, this lawlessness of in relationships, we tend to make excuses and find justification to say that adultery doesn't mean adultery, fornication doesn't mean fornication, stuff like that. But hey, listen, many of us fall prey to those things. I know I have many times in my past life. It was wasn't even falling prey to it. We just wanted it. We lived a very hedonistic worldview, and we embraced the flesh, and we participated in those things. But it led to a lot of pain. It led to a lot of heartache. For some of us in our circles, it led, again, to broken families. Broken families. Getting attached to the wrong person, marrying the wrong person, can lead to a lot of pain. And if we're man enough to admit those things, we can help our children not do the same mistakes, right? Not go through the same mistakes. How? Well, we need to go to the inspired text. The inspired text tells us exactly how this functions and how to remain secure away from problems, if you will. All right, well, now we got ourselves some friends. Let us open up the text on the screen here, and we'll just start reading. We'll get into it that way. Proverbs chapter 7. My son, keep my words. My son, keep my words. Words hold the gem of instruction that guide us in the right way. Okay? Keep my words, my son, endearment, love, sacrifice, thoughtfulness. Keep my words and treasure my commands. You'll find his commands in his words. We need to keep them. We need to treasure them. Do you have any items that you have at your property or your personal belongings of sorts that hold perhaps sentimental value, something you don't want anybody to take from you? You may have secured in a safe or something, I don't know, that special baseball card or hockey card, or maybe an item of jewelry or gem, or perhaps a portrait or clothing, or I don't know. But I don't. I know what mine is. Do you know what yours is? Something that you hold dear to, something you have that you don't want to lose, you don't want anyone to take. It's very precious to you. It means everything to you. You keep that item secure. Treasure my commands within you. Well, how do we keep and treasure the words of wisdom? How do we truly focus on the instruction of the words and keep it dear to our hearts in priority? Do we focus on that? My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. The words of inspired insight are to be read, they are to be studied, they are to be believed, because, again, it's a sense we should all have in common regarding this discernment the insight holds. It truly governs our life, guides us into making the better decisions, helps us to persevere through issues, if you will. Well, do we have these words within our heart? Everyone who does, even individuals who don't believe in God, who don't follow Jesus, they go to the Proverbs and they learn the Proverbs, and they become quite successful in life because there's a principle therein. Now, for you and I, we take the principle for the cause of the Christ, but some individuals, they take the insight for their own selfish ambitions and become quite successful in this life. Sadly, they forfeit their eternity for it, but it's to prove the point. Anyone who believes in anything at any time, in any location of this world, if they read the Proverbs and they believe the Proverbs, they're going to make better decisions in life, and they'll be blessed for it. Well, they might not thank the one who blessed them for it, but they'll be blessed nonetheless because, again, it's an instruction. It's as common as, hey, look, fire, don't put your hand in there, it'll burn your hand. You don't need to believe in God to understand that kind of insight. You can actually even see it to a certain degree, like, yeah, that seems like it's hot, and it's a flame, and if I put my hand in there, it'll burn me. So I'm not going to put my hand in there. And so what's going to happen? He could be an atheist. If he doesn't put his hand in the flame, he won't burn his hand. Right? Sometimes, sadly, those who are the unbelieving individuals follow more so the inside of the Proverbs than believers do. And believers get snared up in all kinds of destructive, chaotic, disorderly relationships, while the secular brain worldview follows the instructions and does not get snared into toxic relationships. Now, a lot of them do. Don't get me wrong or anything, but I'm just saying the point is, it's the gem of its insight is so valuable, it stands on its own. Whether it be in the hand of a believer or the hand of an unbeliever, wherever it is practiced, it's going to produce a better judgment. My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you. Keep my commands and live. You want to live? Keep my commands. It's truly honest to believe. Keep my commands and live. You want to live? Keep the commands of the words. Keep them and treasure them. Have them as priority in your heart. Permit yourself to be governed by them in everything and anything you do. It could be finances, could be business, could be relationships, within the family and outside the family, with coworkers. It could be through the lens of an employer or an employee, your neighbors, your peers, your friends, your family, anything and everything. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you can come up with. If you utilize this insight, you'll make better decisions in all of those departments of human experience. You just will. We certainly pray our politicians would tap into this kind of stuff. We'd certainly have less of a problem that we see all over the place these days. You know, a whole bunch of people don't know the difference between male and female. Well, they need Jesus ASAP, no doubt. They need to start reading the insights of the Proverbs. Keep my commands and live, and my law as the apple of your eye. It is the governing force in your mind. The law. Now, for you and I, living within the dispensation of the Messianic age, the Christian era, you and I live submissive to the law of Christ, which is the 27 books of the New Testament. That is the law of Christ. Within his law, mercy, grace, forgiveness, comfort, compassion, giving, benevolence, strength, courage, boldness. Let's read the words of the 27 books of the New Testament. Let's read them in a meditative state, away from all distractions. Let's read it to understand it. Let's rightly handle it. Let's believe it and let's practice it. It certainly does become the apple of our eye, the gem within our soul, the spirit, the wind, that instructs us forward. It's what we need to live. People don't do that. People die from all sorts of foolish decisions. And not only do they die prematurely, they bring innocent people along with them because of their foolishness. It's better all around. It's the better model all around if you have a community of individuals who read the scriptures, believe the scriptures, and live according to the scriptures. Now, we no longer live under the instruction of the Old Testament or its law, but we are commanded by the New Testament law to learn the Old Testament law, for therein we see the mind of God and the mind of man, both those who follow God and those who don't. And inspired men were blessed to write information to give you and I insight into human experience. And human experience has to do at times greatly with relationship, friendships, marriage. Bind them on your fingers, he says. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to wisdom, you are my sister, and call understanding your nearest kin. For that they may keep you from the immoral woman. Okay, so why all of this? Listen, pay attention now. Stick with it. I know you may find this a bit tedious, but you shouldn't. There should be thousands and thousands and thousands of people studying this kind of stuff. Millions of people. Billions of people. Okay. My son, keep my words. Keep the words. Treasure the commands. Right? Focus on the law. Live by the law. Bind them upon ourselves. Write them on our hearts. We have to cherish wisdom, the information, the instruction, the words, as a sibling, as a family, as a someone tender and loving that we embrace, that we hold, that we protect, that we secure. And the understanding of it, our nearest kin, most important, before anything else. And the reason we want to do that, the reason we want to understand the scriptures and live by the scriptures, is that it would keep us from immoral women. And of course, you could say immoral men. From the seductress who flatters with her words. If we give our life in full sacrifice to the instruction and insight of the scripture, we shall know how to conquer the temptations that certainly come our way from men and women who are cultivated in a craft of sensuality. How they can speak with their body and clothing, their eyes. How they can cunningly lure you into acts of lawlessness with them. So the crafty harlot, the account begins. Very interesting account, no doubt. The crafty harlot. For at the window of my house I looked through my lattice and saw among the simple, the naive, right? I perceived among the youths a young man devoid of understanding. He's kind of a simpleton, if you will. Doop-de-doo. Kind of like your Pinocchio walking about. And then he gets approached by these sinister, malicious entities seeking to contaminate him, corrupt him. And Pinocchio, he's just like, do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, okay, sure, let's go play. You know, just not wise to things, not capable of discerning. So here we are looking at Pinocchio there. You know how he goes through the city and he's following now these individuals who keep telling him, fame and fortune, and you'll have fun, and we'll have fun, and everything will be fun. In other words, they're selling a product. The product is lawlessness, but they can't just sell it according to its conclusion, because that would be death and destruction, so it has to be flowered up. Oh, it'll be so much fun. You'll get to have fun. Come follow us and have fun and be rich and famous, and we'll play. And So Pinocchio, we're observing Pinocchio down there, walking the street and following them. We're shaking our head, being like, he's following those two guys? Man, those individuals are corrupt. Now, if Pinocchio would not have been a simple-minded, naive individual with weaknesses and vulnerabilities, he would have immediately been able to discern those two and been like, you guys are a problem. I'm going to stay away from you guys. I'm going to stay far, far away from you guys. You guys are a problem. See, that's the difference. The scriptures would teach us how to do that. The scriptures would say, hey, guys, stay away from them. But these simpletons, they don't. They fall prey to the attack. For at the window of my house I looked through the lattice and saw among the simple, I perceived among the youth a young man devoid of understanding. Just do, not thinking about anything really. Passing along the street near her corner. Okay, so here's this little Pinocchio kind of character, right? He's not wise on a great many things. He's not learned. He don't understand much. He can be easily taken advantage of, persuaded, cunningly so, devoured by corruption, lawlessness. So he's passing along the street near her corner, the corner in which this seductress, if you will, is found, this adulteress. And these sorts, they can spot these little Pinocchio-type men from a mile away. There's like, there's an easy one, right? There's an easy one. Easy prey. And he took the path to her house. Well, he's already got a bunch of stuff going wrong for him. And if we're learning here, you and I, to the practical lens, let's do this. Okay, for the window of the house, I looked through my window lattice and saw among them the simple. I perceived among them a youth man devoid of understanding. Okay, so here's problem numero uno. This individual is devoid of understanding. He's already in a deficit. He's already going to be in a problem because he's devoid of understanding. His mind is simple. It shouldn't be. A young man of his age should know these things. Not intimately, if you will, but from a distance, as per the Proverbs instruction. Like, you should know these things. You don't need to live in sin to know what sin is. Okay? You don't need to. You don't need to be an individual who falls prey to sinful activities, living in sin for decades, to say, oh, now I know what that is. You don't need to. You don't need to put your hand in the flame to say, okay, now I know it hurts, and now I know it burns, now I know what fire does. You don't need to do that. You can see it, and you can see the danger from a mile away. And if you love your parents and you follow their instruction, they'll tell you, don't put your hand in the flame. And you should be wise enough to be like, yeah, okay, I think you're looking out for my greater good. I don't need to put my hand in the flame. Well, this simpleton, if you will, this individual, this youth, this young man, he's devoid of understanding. He's already at a deficit. He's already have a weakness and a vulnerability that can be taken advantage of. And that's exactly what these seductresses do, these adulteresses. And you can apply this in all principle, obviously, in all facets of experience. Want to go buy yourself a vehicle? If the car salesman sees you as an individual devoid of understanding, if he sees you as a simpleton, oh, he's going to swindle you. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, I'll give you a deal. Sure, right. I'm going to get a deal. I got a deal, guys. I bought this $5,000 vehicle, worth $500. It could be anything and everything, not only relationship, employment, or conditions, anything. A wolf in sheep's clothing regarding religious affairs. He sees a local assembly. He sees brethren who are weak, who have weaknesses and vulnerabilities, who are simple and devoid of understanding. A wolf in sheep's clothing, he'll manipulate and take control. Devour, and that's the end of it. You'll find yourself lost eternally at the hands of these sorts. A young man devoid of understanding. So there, that's another problem. Passing along the street near her corner, and he took the path to her house. Well, there's problem number 3. Why are you going that way for? There's certain locations over here. I would tell you, hey, man, don't go down that street unless you're ready to deal with what's over there. Some streets over here are pretty rough. I got my ghetto pass, but it took my life. I wouldn't encourage you to go walking down that street. Probably get hurt, taken advantage of. things might happen you don't want to happen. Don't go down that street. What are you going there for? If Adam and Eve would have stayed far away from the location they were not to be found in, where that tree was found, where they were not to even look at the thing or take from it and eat from it, they could have perhaps avoided that moment. Prudence, insight, discernment. This poor, foolish, young and naive individual, he took the path to her house. Well, maybe he didn't know. Well, I get the impression folks know. Like this woman who's been hanging around there, I don't think this man is her first prey. She doesn't, you're going to find out that she doesn't seem to be a novice to all of this. But he ain't going to know that. He ain't going to be able to discern that fact because he's, devoid of understanding. He is simple in his mind. He's not been educated to understand. He can't discern it. So he might see her as, oh, wow, she's really pretty and she likes me. She seems like fun. Well, this is not her first rodeo. So she's like, hey, look at this guy. An easy trick. We call them tricks, don't we? Yeah, that's what the common slang in the streets understand it to be. This woman has had many men. Many men. Many, many men. And she, in the cunning way of a worldly mind and fleshly desire, has wisdom and discernment to her pleasure, no doubt. So she can see this individual from a mile away and be like, oh, look at this Pinocchio. He's going to be easy to take over. Passing along the street near her corner, and he took the path to her house. What did he do that for? Now, if he wasn't devoid of understanding, he would have known, I'm not going to even go close to that. Don't go to a location. Don't permit yourself to be found in a situation where you will be lured in by such a woman or man. How did it happen that the husband fell into an affair with the secretary? How did that happen? Did he maliciously seek to do so? That's a problem. Can't go to heaven that way. Going to cause a lot of problems. Going to break up the family. Going to make a mess. Or was he a simpleton, naive, weak, vulnerable, devoid of understanding? He couldn't discern it. The secretary's, just flirting with him. He's just being easily manipulated into it. Either or. Whether it be the high-handed, I want to cheat on my wife, or the, I'm just being lured in because I don't know. Seems like fun. I'm sure it'll be okay. Obviously, I'm being a bit humorous with the animated illustration here, but I think you understand what I'm saying. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. Well, what are you doing going around that corner in that kind of situation? You know what happens over here at a certain time at night? Things of the night, where you find the children of rebellion doing what they do. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. You shouldn't be out there doing what the children of the night are doing. What's he doing? Why is he going down her path, where she is found, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black of the night? And there a woman met him. Well, of course she did. She could spot this trick from a mile away. And there a woman met him with the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. Ooh. Descriptive nature to this woman. Again, you can reverse the role at any time. The principle remains the same. Could be a man, could be a woman. But for the account, it's a woman. And generally so speaking, it seems to have always been to that corner, to that end. What is Adam and Eve doing close to that tree? If they eat from that tree, don't they know they're going to die? Like, that's the law. What's this young man doing here in the night, going down that path where that woman is? With the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. She knows what's up. This is not her first rodeo. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. You know, clothing speak a language. Clothing speak a language. I know in our current generation, our current culture, our current, what do they call that? Fashion. Our current fashion is nakedness. It's as immoral as it can get. You just have to be really strong of mind as a man going out there and seeing how women dress these days. They don't leave much to the imagination. They're kind of promoting the product right up in your face. Well, this woman here, with the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart, she's speaking a language already to everyone, to the passerby, but now to her target, her prey, this young man who is devoid of understanding. He's naive, he's simple, he's weak, he's vulnerable. So she speaks to him, obviously. We're designed to find the other sex attractive. You know that, right? So to see, for a young man, still in the height of his ambition and his governance with his body and his thoughts, his eyes, this young man sees a beautiful, experienced woman who is attractively, seductively, wearing a clothing that speaks a language to lure him in. And look at my body. Doesn't it look nice? Wouldn't you like to see it closer? Wouldn't you like to touch it? It's soft. It smells nice. It's sensual. The language of the clothing is important. That's why, of course, you and I, as Christians, we have to understand modesty. Modesty. With the attire of a harlot and a crafty heart. So, in cooperation, the utility of her ambition and her desires for sexual pleasure are in coordination. Not only does the clothing she wears speaks a language of seduction, she also has the heart for it. She also has the kind of cunning mind to utilize it to get what she wants. Again, this is not her first rodeo. This is not the first time she seduces a man to have sexual pleasure with. She may have obviously she begun that path sometime in her life, and it was awkward and it was strange and it may not have worked the first few times, but then she started to catch on things. Men want to see my cleavage. Men want to see my curves. Men who can be easily manipulated. So now I'm going to learn how to use my body that way. I'm going to learn to use it to... And listen, I've lived in the world for many, many years, doing what the world does. Some women are truly governed. Like their life, their sole focus in life, their priority is sex. Don't get me wrong, sex is fun. And God says we can have all kinds of sex if we're lawfully married with our wife or husband. But outside the marriage bed, it's going to cause problems. And some of these women, they're just driven by it. So here's this harlot. She has the right kind of clothes, and her heart is cunning. It's crafty. Kind of like, remember the snake with Adam and Eve? Cunning snake. Crafty snake. She was loud and rebellious. Wow. Loud and rebellious. See, this is for our youth, for our sons and daughters, to teach them. Some of us, it's too late. We made the mistakes. We learned from them, hopefully. We were disciplined by them. We live to the consequences of them. But we don't need to have our kids do the same thing. We don't need our kids to do the same mistake. So we can teach them these words and the descriptive nature of an individual who seeks to take advantage of you sexually. And it's an easy sell, right? I mean, it's lured to it. She was loud and rebellious. Rebellion is, of course, lawlessness. She doesn't want to remain pure with her husband. She's been an adulteress for a long time now. She knows how to do this. She seeks it. It's in her heart. There may not even be any redemptive quality within her. at this point. She may not feel any guilt anymore. She became callous to it all. She just wants the sexual pleasure of it all. She was loud and rebellious. Look at me. I am lawless. Don't you like what you see? Wouldn't you like to see some more? Be careful where you click your mouse. These days, something that's quite quite a pain is you can't really do anything almost anywhere on social media without bumping into pornography or things of that kind. You have to really be strong of mind and self-controlled to do so. I actually even tagged Elon Musk on his Twitter, on his X platform. And I'm like, if you want to mature your platform and you want to truly pierce through into a very professional site, get rid of the porn, get rid of the gore. It's just such a drag. Because I use X for current events. I think it to be the most accurate and on-the-spot minute news from both sides, so you can judge for yourself what's right or what's wrong. You can investigate for yourself. So I truly appreciate X. It's my go-to place to know what's happening. It's the current events. But it's filled with pornography and gore. In other words, you're scrolling the news, you're watching the news, and then the next thing you know, boom, in your face pornography. And not just like soft porn. I mean, I'm talking hardcore porn, illicit sexual intercourse. And you got to keep scrolling immediately. You're just like, garbage. Let's go. Next. Oh, there it is. People having sex, I don't need to look at that. I have a wife. We love each other. So you keep going. But it's this constant pestering with it, or gore, seeing things that are gory that folks don't need to see. I've seen enough of that in my time. I've seen violence. I've lived violence. I don't need to see that. But it's there. So the young man, do you know how many young men who are simple and devoid of understanding and who are vulnerable to these things? And I mean, just imagine. Freedom comes with responsibility, and freedom doesn't mean we permit every lawless thing to take place just because it's available. Okay, so back to the text here. It says, she was loud and rebellious. So we have to be careful with these things. She's proud and loud. Pride. Oh, she's proud. She's loud and proud, and she's rebellious. She's lawless. She's crafty. She speaks the language of seduction with her clothing. That's a difficult one to let go. Man, us men, we can fall prey to those things. Oh, why is it that way? What did David do when he saw Bathsheba on top of the house there bathing? That's a difficult one. It is. It's difficult for both men and women, isn't it? I find women beautiful. I mean, I married one. So you kind of have to learn how to govern your mind. And this simpleton, this individual, this young man, he's just going to fall for that. Her feet would not stay at home. She's not loyal. She's not faithful to her husband. She's loud and proud. She's rebellious. She's crafty. She's a seductress. She's an adulteress. She wants to fornicate, and she knows just how to get it. And she knows who to get it from. This man, oh man, he's sticking out like a sore thumb. Don't be that guy. Listen, if there's any young men listening to this, or young women, don't do that. I know it seems adventurous. I know that. It seems adventurous and exciting to have a quick and easy and inviting and welcoming sexual practice, sexual desire here, but those few minutes are going to cause a lifelong consequence in your mind. Even if you never meet that woman again and never know who her husband was, or even if she has children, even if you never see these people ever again, it's in your mind and it's stained. It's going to cause a problem. Her feet would not stay at home. Sadly, we've seen many of those. It's like, dude, your wife, she's not loyal to you, man. We've seen her with other men. Like, she's a problem. No, man, she loves me. She's not. I trust her. You're simple. You're naive. I've been there. Certainly. I've had girlfriends, man, they were cheating on me. I was like, no, she loves me. It's okay. And I played the other role. I've been the cheater, to which the girlfriends were good girls. They're like, he's a good guy, you know, he loves me. I was like, no. It's a mess out there. And I'd love to tell you, no such a thing exists among Christians. Oh, no, those things, they just never happen with believers. It's a rampant mess among Christians. They fall prey to these things. Her feet would not stay at home. She's not faithful. She is not faithful. She doesn't want to stay with one man. The man she married, not going to happen. Verse 12, at times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking at every corner. This is her life. This is her lifestyle. This is her priority. This is what she does. She wants to find satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction. She wants this satisfaction. She's driven by it. And sadly, many men fall prey and have lost everything they've had, marriages, careers, for women. And in very technical terms, for what a woman has in her privates. Sexual pleasure. Of course it feels good. It's worse than a drug. It's the highest drug for some men, and they'll lose everything for it. They'll lose everything for it. And she knows this. She knows what she wants. She knows there are men out there who are going to fall prey to it. I've sadly seen men in the church fall prey and marry these kind of women. And the men don't leave the house. It's whatever she says. And she's immodest, and she knows how to keep him slaved. Sex can be a pleasurable thing to practice. It is a pleasurable thing to practice. It's encouraged. You should have sex if you can with your wife or your husband, lawfully, lawful marriage. You should. Sometimes you can't. Health situations happen. Sometimes age. Sometimes they're, okay. But these here sorts, they utilize that for the wrong reason. It's a lust that is not permitted. A lust that is found within husband and wife in a lawful marriage is permitted, but not outside. These seductresses, they know these things. They again, it's not her first rodeo. At times she was outside, at times in the open square, lurking at every corner. She can be found everywhere. Oh, there she is here. She's on the other side of the bar having a drink, and she's giving me pretty eyes. Oh, there she is at the grocery store. Or there she is down Main Street. Down on Main Street. Lurking at every corner. She's just lurking about, seeking for a young man to devour. So she caught him, this young man who is devoid of understanding, who is simple, who's been going down the path he should not be going towards her in the night, in a time of the day where he shouldn't be out there going that direction. And she kissed him. So she caught him and kissed him. She was out fishing. She got herself a catch. She kisses him. With an impudent face, she said to him, and let me check something here. Verse 13. What does mine say? So she seizes him and kisses him, and with a brazen face, she says to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I came out to meet you. To meet him, really? Oh, okay. He's special, isn't he? Oh, he's special. Diligently to seek your face. Oh, his face. And I have found you. See this simple young man, devoid of understanding, lacking insight, discernment. He's vulnerable. He's weak. He can be easily devoured, manipulated, taken advantage of. He's a perfect trick for this seductress. Look at the way she speaks. And of course, she has that face. right? Oh, she is quite secure. She has no insecurities with this one. She is quite secure in what she's doing. She has a way to speak with her eyes, with her body, with her clothing. She has that, uh, 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 how should we say, countenance, her facial countenance, the way she looks at him. She takes him. She kisses him. Passion. Oh, she can get him, can't she? I have peace offerings with me. This is of course, deceitful, alluring, right? Oh, we can do this. We can do this. Oh, of course. Peace. Peace is a good word, isn't it? Offerings. Offerings is a good word, isn't it? The descriptive tone of things that are delightful and upright, that hold integrity. Doesn't peace and offerings hold integrity? Oh, of course, this is a good thing. Today I've paid my vows. I have done as I should have done. Things are upright, aren't they? So I, the seductress here, came out to meet you, young man. Oh, this is all for you. You're a special person to me. And they'll fall prey for this time and time again, bro. Time and time again. So I came out to meet you. You're so special, diligently. Like I did my due diligence. I put in the work. I wanted to. Seek your face. You handsome young man, you. These types, man, they're quite cunning with it. I was tempted by these sorts when I was young. You know, you're 19, 20, 21, mid-20s maybe, and these, what is known in the streets as, these cougars. That was the word, the cougars, or the late 30s, early 40s, maybe even to the mid 40s, depending on, beautiful women, beautiful, experienced women, married women. Oh yeah, they'd meet you at the bar. They'd start to get real close to you. She's got a Corvette outside. She's financially well put. Yeah, listen, come on over. Let's go have a few drinks at my place. Really. It was just not my kind of thing. Many of my perhaps friends or people in my entourage in my past life, they go for that. But so I came out to meet you, she says, diligently to seek your face. Oh, you're so special to me, and I have found you. Look at all the yous, right? You, your, you. Why is she speaking that way? Well, she knows his weakness, making him feel important. I desire you. Oh, no other. No, of course not. Just you. I have spread my bed with tapestry. Oh, she knows the kind of words to use, doesn't she? Absolutely. And young men fall prey to these things. Young men fall prey to these things all the time. I have spread my bed with tapestry. It's welcoming. It smells nice. It looks nice. Colored coverings of Egyptian linen. Oh, soft, pleasurable. She's got the... she knows the snare. She knows her prey. If you're a hunter, you hunt. Whatever kind of game you hunt, you get to learn the beast. Learn the beast. What does the beast look like? What does the beast do? What's the function of the beast? Know everything you can about the beast. What does it eat? What does it do? Where does it go? Learn everything about the beast. And once you learned everything about the beast, then you can snare the beast. Hunt the beast. Well, she's hunting. And she's learned everything she can learn about this prey. She's luring him in. I have spread my bed with tapestry, colored coverings, Egyptian linen. The same thing today. It's the same way. Verse 17, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Like, this is going to be a very pleasurable experience. And it's all for you. It's all for you. Come, she says, let us take our fill of love until morning. And that's interesting, isn't it? Because they do the same thing today. Love? Is that love? Is what's happening here love? Her husband's off working hard to pay the bills, let's say. He's doing what he needs to do to take care of his family, take care of her, make sure everything's upright. He's off. He's employed, let's say. And here she is, his wife, doing all these things with another man, a young man who's naive to it all. And she uses the word love. You know, they say the same thing today regarding fornication, adultery, homosexuality. You know what they say, right? Love is love. It's love. It's love. Come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Well, yeah, see, she uses the word love. She uses the word peace. She uses the word offerings. It's very cunning. Is there something wrong with those words in of themselves? No, of course not. Don't you and I want peace? Don't you and I want to practice offerings? Don't you and I appreciate a kind aroma? Colored coverings and Egyptian linen? Perfume? Myrrh and aloes and cinnamon? You know, we have a kind of business over here. I forget the name of it now. I don't know if it's like Bed Bath & Beyond. I think it used to be, but it's something else now. Anyways, go in there and it's like super fun smells. Mostly women go in there. I like going in there with my wife because, again, you get to buy soaps and candles and things, and it's, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff that smells nice. My wife and I were big on candles and stuff. We love the nice aroma, nice smell in the house. Something wrong with that? Well, of course not. Something wrong with love? Well, of course not. But is that what's taking place here? Come, she says, let us, you and I, because you're so special, take our fill of love. Not just some love, all of it. All of it. Is it love? Until morning. Can do this all night. Come on, we'll have fun, you and I. Let's do this. No, it's not love. It's lust. It's unrighteous. It's adultery. It's fornication. It's not love. But if we call it love, then maybe it's love. Let us delight ourselves with love, pleasure, sexual intercourse, and everything around sexual practices. Listen, if you think this is too heavy, you're already missing the mark. Because if you would see what your kids are learning at school at a young age, that's why many Christians, they miss the mark with it. That's why many Christian families, their children grow up and fall prey to these things. They can't deal with it. Their conscience is too tender. They can't read these words. I'm uncomfortable. Wait until your kids do it. You should see what they're learning in school. She says, come, let us take our fill of love until morning. Let us delight ourselves with love. As long as we call it love. As long as we don't want to call it fornication. We don't want to call it adultery. As long as we call it love, it's fine. She says, for my husband is not at home. My husband is not at home. You have a husband? He's not at home. Now, of course, this is utilized for temptation to lure him in even further. Like, we're safe. We're safe. Nobody's going to barge into us. Nobody's going to stop us from doing what we want to do. It should have been a big red flag. There's already been a whole bunch of them, but I mean, if this isn't the last one that says, okay, I got to turn around here. This woman's got a man. Well, I think many in the community at that hour of the night know she has a man. Again, I don't think this is their first rodeo. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He ain't going to be here anytime soon. He ain't going to be in our way. He's not going to barge in. He has taken a bag of money with him and will come home on the appointed day. So we can do what we want to do. It'll be fine. We can make love. We can have love. Love. It's love. Verse 21, with her enticing speech, she caused him to yield. enticing speech. Women have the power of words, very crafty. They have the power of words to say things to these kind of men that'll work. Don't fall for them. Don't fall for those words. You don't even need to make it to this portion of the account in your life experience. You can, with prudency, immediately tell yourself, I'm not even going to go down that street with that woman, where that woman is found. I'm not even going to go down that street, certainly not at that time of night. Like, don't even go there. Like someone could have said to Adam and Eve, don't even, just listen, you have 99 wonderful blessings. God's given you 99 things to look at and to take care of and to do, and you've got more than enough to last forever here. You got 99 things. Stay away from that one thing over there. Don't even go close to it. You know, if the street's called Harvey Street, don't even go down Harvey Street. Stay away from Harvey Street. Like, why would you go there? And why would you go there at that time of night? Don't you know what's happening? You know, I can assure you, there are many streets over here in the city at a certain time of night. Oh, you can get what you want. You can get what you want. Stay away from that. Don't even go there. Don't even go to that location of the garden where that tree is found, where that fruit is found. You won't even stay away from it. If you have to cut whatever you need to cut out of your life to stay away from that location, do so. Your friends like to go hang out down that street at night, then you may need some new friends. Stay away from it. Don't go down there. Because if you do, her enticing speech may cause you to yield. Her flattering lips may seduce you. A woman's lips, it's a big business, isn't it? It's big business. Makeup. Another reason I love my wife. She don't need makeup. She don't. I mean, I find her pretty when she puts some, but she doesn't use some. She's pretty without it. But the world knows, like the Egyptians, right? To utilize this craft, this art, to make the eyes look a certain way, to make the lips lush, plump, voluptuous lips. You know, they have ways to make themselves attractive to men who are naive that way. Flattering lips seduced him. He got seduced. Immediately, verse 22, he went after her. That's it. That's it. He's done. He's cooked. It's over. He falls for it all. It's been a very strategic plan forward for her, and it's paying off. It's paying off. He falls for it. He's a trick. Immediately, he went after her. He's not even hesitating. At this point, he's got the very burning passion of sexual desire. For those of us who have walked on this earth a little while, we know what that feels like. It's very pleasurable if it's done with your husband or wife in a lawful marriage. It's very pleasurable. We look forward to those moments, don't we? But outside the marriage bed, oh man, gonna get into trouble. Gonna get into a whole bunch of trouble. You know, a flame can heat the home, but that same flame, it can burn the house down. Got to be used properly. Immediately he went after her. He didn't even hesitate at this point. He's hook, line, and sinker. He's in it. He has been sold. The product is just too much for him to bear. He's gonna buy it. As an ox goes to the slaughter. Interesting. Look at again. Just follow me here. She says peace. She says offerings. She says she's paid her vows. She makes him feel special. You. It's all about you. I wasn't waiting for you. It's all about you. Her bedspread is filled with all sorts of colored coverings and linens and soft Egyptian material. It smells nice. The aroma is just so wonderful. She's kissed him. She's embraced him that way. She's shown him her body, the clothing she's wearing. She's told him there's nothing to worry about. No one will barge in on us. We have the night to ourselves. She uses the word love. Love. It's love, isn't it? It's love. And how does all of this end? How does all of this cunning, seductive deception end? Immediately after he goes with her. Well, it's like an ox to the slaughter. Slaughter. You know what slaughter looks like? It makes a mess. The scripture says, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Verse 22. Suddenly he follows her, as an ox goes to the slaughter, or as one in fetters to the discipline of a fool. He's headed towards danger. He's in danger. Verse 23, till an arrow struck his liver. As a bird hastens to the snare, he did not know it would cost his life. You're going to die there. Lawlessness, fornication, adultery. You're going to die there. What a young, foolish man, devoid of understanding. Just a simpleton. Pinocchio walking down the street, and here come these two sinister, corrupted individuals speaking all the right words, right? Oh, we'll have fun, and we'll be able to have all kinds of famous fame and fortune and all kinds of wonderful things. And Pinocchio's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I should be going to school, but all right. And off he goes to the slaughter. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Verse 24, now therefore listen to me, my children. Pay attention to the words of my mouth. Remember how this all began with verses 1 through 5, the instruction of the commandments we are to keep and the teachings we are to apply in our life and to bind them in our hearts and to truly live by the information of the wisdom that would keep us away from falling prey to these sorts. And how to cunningly discern the attack. It doesn't matter if it has to do with what is in context here, which is sexual desire. It could be in any other way or form, in other location, in employment, in various other relationship types, even protecting the local assembly from wolves in sheep's clothing that want to come in and use all the right words. Oh, I'm a righteous speaker. Oh, he's a fine, sound gospel preacher, and he's... then you fall prey to it. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. For she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. So it's not a matter of strength, is it? Her house is the way to hell, descending to the chambers of death. Even strong men have fallen prey to her. And again, as we suspected, this is not her first rodeo. For she has cast down many wounded, and all who were slain by her were strong men. You can fall prey to it. You have a happy marriage, strong marriage, love your wife. Wouldn't cheat on her, would you? No, never. No, you wouldn't. You're strong. Your wife is beautiful. She's loyal. She's faithful. You have children. Beautiful marriage. You wouldn't fall prey to that. You're a strong Christian man, aren't you? Yeah, sure. Yeah. See how strong you are if you go down that path at that time of night to see a woman like that. Stay away. Just stay away from it. We need to teach our youth, stay away from these sorts. Stay away. We haven't, have we? Look at the mess out there. Look at everything taking place out there. So the wisdom of the literature is revealed, no doubt. And we are wise to stay from even the very surface flirty moments. I know it's tempting, but you can do it. Don't even entertain the thought. Don't even permit. It's just a friendly text message. It may be innocent, but it may not be, and you don't want to fall prey to that. Son, follow the words of God. Learn the word of God. Stay away from these women who are going to take you away. Daughter, learn the word of God. Follow the word of God. Learn the insight of God. Stay away from these men who seek to use you and abuse you. Find good men and women, decent men and women who love Jesus first and foremost, and they are active and present in a faithful local assembly, a faithful local church that belongs to Christ. Don't go out there thinking you're going to meet these kind of women that Proverbs chapter 7 speaks about, and you're going to convert them to Christ. What a foolish thing to think. You won't. He'll convert you. She'll convert you into the wrong path. And how are you going to start a relationship if she's already has a husband? Stay away from those problems. It's not that this woman here that is read of, this harlot in Proverbs chapter 7, can't receive forgiveness of her sins and turn her life around. It's available to her. It just don't need to be with our sons and daughters. It don't need to be with our sons and daughters to find out if they will change. There's nothing more powerful in Christ than to be strong and secure in a faithful marriage. And the way that operates is to do as much as you can together, to keep your romance together, to make sure your marriage is flourishing. And there has to be, of course, the motive of the heart. You have to want to make it work. If one of the partners is not willing to make it work, it's going to fall. Keep my commandments and live. Words to live by. Keep my commandments and live. Learn Proverbs chapter 7. Learn of it well. Believe what it says. Practice what it says, and you won't find yourself in the middle of the night going down a street where this woman is found, where you will be snared, where you'll be led to the slaughter. Don't do that. Stay faithful and pure. Stay faithful and pure, and marry someone who loves Jesus first and foremost, and who is faithfully active and present at a local church that belongs to Christ. What do you guys think? What do you think about this session? Yeah, it's a bit mature, but I assure you, again, I can't stress this enough. Some of our brethren, that's a bit too mature. That's a bit too how should they say, explicit. Really? You are aware of what they are learning in public school, right? Out there? Like, you are aware of what they're learning and the books they're being shown. No, this is decent. This is fair. This needs to be taught. And we certainly do teach it here at the East Coast Church of Christ. Our children need to know. Our youth, our teenagers, our young adults, they need to know this. Don't fall prey. Don't fall prey to the way of the world. I know as a young man, your body starts to change. You start to go through stuff, and you become very attractive to the other sex. And you want to explore that. You want to have that adventure. And it's available to you. Just Take time. Be patient. It has to be with the right person. It will come to you. Just take time. Be careful. Pray to God. Living on this side of the map, it's a concern, obviously, that our children will meet the right person. But the right person don't exist on this side of the map, if you will, to a certain perspective. So what do? Well, we trust wholeheartedly in God, that God is the one who will choose our children's life mates. And that our children, in their responsibility, will be taught these things to make sure they look for the right candidate to spend their life with. I told them, don't marry someone who can't eat bacon. Just don't do it. If they can't eat bacon, it's a big problem for us. Or if they don't like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. They can hate every other one, all the ones that came afterwards, but at least Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. They have to like that one. And they have to at least know one song from Led Zeppelin, okay? They have to listen to Waylon Jennings. I could go on. I have a list for my children. Be like, you can't marry someone that don't understand these things. Anyway, I appreciate all of you greatly. No doubt you are loved. You are loved. And I want you to stay focused, and I want you to stay positive, okay? If you find any worth in these sessions, please consider sharing it on your social media platforms. Drop a comment, subscribe, follow, things like that. Engage. If you see the value of it, please consider supporting it. The cost of living these days, we've lost a lot of support. But God keeps taking care of us. The opportunity is available to you to support me and my family. You can certainly send us some stars here on Facebook, if you will, or you can sign up to addedsouls.locals.com. That's a platform you can sign up to and support us monthly over there. There is the PayPal option, addedsouls@gmail.com, and there is also our physical address if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation along those lines. Thank you so much for all of you who do support us. We have congregations and Christians that support us, and it's been a blessing to know them and to have this compassion, this love, to keep me and my family active. These benevolent gifts that come our way, these supportive gifts, they certainly motivate us and keep us focused on what's most important here in life, and that's to tell people about Jesus and help them make it to heaven. Sound good? Lord willing, tomorrow, what are we, Thursday? Yeah, tomorrow, Thursday, 9 a.m. Atlantic Daylight Time, we will have ourselves a conversation in a topical discussion. Hope to see you there. And if you want some more from me, you can certainly follow me on my personal profile on Facebook, Stéphane Ashmaye. I think that's all I got. Sound good? All right. Peace out.